GW, you've got some splaining to do, is what I would say if this was going to be a huge angry rant on the new Space Marine Codex. Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Levi with Obsidian Blade Productions, and no, this isn't going to be a huge rant or even really an in-depth review of the new Space Marine Codex. I thought about giving my full opinion, and I still might give an opinion on 9th edition in the future, but right now I've got something more important to say. Something I've been thinking about for a while and haven't been able to quite put my finger on until I started going through the new Codex myself. I've refrained from giving any sort of opinion on the new Codex or on 9th edition until I got my hands on them specifically. Reading through the rulebook, the changes were interesting to say the least, but I could see how they would add some new layers to the game, layers that weren't necessarily there before. Of course, there was something to be said for what we had in 8th edition, but change is always good. Well, most of the time at least. As far as the Codex went, a lot of rumors were floating around about its release, and heck, even some of the early releases, like with Mini Wargaming, I didn't want to take them at face value. I wanted a chance to actually look at the Codex myself, read through it, and figure out what the changes were so I could form an opinion that I thought about, rather than something that was given to me. And I'm glad that I did, because it's led me to a conclusion, specifically about Space Marine players. Now, understand, this video is not just for Space Marine players. If you are a non-Imperium player, please stick around, because I've got something that I want to say to you too. But a lot of this video is going to be for Space Marine players, so I understand if a non-Imperium player were to click off right now. I get that. But I would ask you to stick around to the end of the video for something that I feel that you need to hear. To the Space Marine players out there, to Imperium players in general, I suppose, but Space Marine players specifically, I've seen a lot of people saying how GW is ruining the game for us and making changes that they shouldn't. I don't think GW is ruining the game, guys. I think we are. Hear me out on this one. Every time you hear somebody complaining about the Space Marine players, you hear about the guys bringing these tournament-level lists to casual games at their local game store. Now, I know that there are ways to exploit an admittedly not perfect system, but that should hardly be an excuse, should it? I think that all the changes that GW has been making has been to help rebalance a game that we broke. I don't think GW rushed anything. I think they're rushing to catch up to what we're doing to their game. I know too many people now who refuse to play with Space Marine players. I know too many people who bought Space Marines because they hate Space Marines, they hate the lore, they hate the Imperium, but they were sick of losing games. Heck, I know guys who just play Space Marine versus Space Marine games. How boring is that? The Space Marine versus Space Marine shouldn't be the only games you see at your local game store. It's just ridiculous. With how many factions there are to choose from, how come we're only seeing more Space Marine versus Space Marine players? It's unexcusable. But the simple fact is, it's our fault, guys. We ruined Space Marines. And GW's been trying to fix it this whole time. Trying to find a way to create a system where we can't break it. Ultimately, that's going to be an enterprise that ends in failure. There's nothing they can do that we won't be able to break. And you know what? There's always going to be people who are going to break this game, so I'm not even sure if this message is going to get to anybody. But honestly, I gotta try. I just have to try. If you're a Space Marine player out there and you're still playing 9th, do me a favor. When you build your list and you think about how you play at your friendly local game store, ask yourself this. Am I the kind of player that I would want to play against if I were brand new? Let me explain. Back when I first started in 8th edition, this was about 2 years ago now, one of the things that I loved so much was that the community seemed to actually care and be nice, and it wasn't super toxic. I knew there were toxic parts out there on the internet. That's the simple fact with any community. There's always going to be the toxic parts of it. But for the most part, at my game stores, we maybe had 1 or 2 people, but I figured they were just the tournament level guys, you know, and they just didn't want to play with the casual guys who were just learning, and I got that. But over time, I started to realize there was more to it than that. And then with each new update, with each new FAQ, and with each new unit released, something changed, guys. And we are the ones who changed, not GW. So don't even try and come at me with that. So what can we do? Be the kind of player that you would be happy to play against if you were brand new. Be kind and caring and gracious and compassionate. That's all this hobby is about. It's about having fun. Okay, don't show up to the game store looking to wreck everyone. I'm not saying don't play to win, guys. There's no point in playing this game if we're not trying to win. But don't make winning the only thing you care about. I've seen far too many good games ruined because that was the case. I played plenty of games that I had a blast because I lost. Or in the way that I lost, I had a lot of fun. I've had games where I won in a landslide, but my opponent still had plenty of fun because he thought that I actually had some good ideas and some fun strategies. Or I made an insane number of 6-up saves, and even he thought it was hilarious in a macabre sort of way. Something in has changed, and it's got to change back to what it was, you guys. Especially with this new edition. It's a clean slate for us, you guys. It's a new chance. 9th edition is probably one of the easiest editions for new players to pick up on. And I really think that a lot of people will. Especially with the new units coming out for Necrons. And you know they're going to have some new stuff coming out for Orcs and Tyranids and plenty of other units down the road. Okay? I get that Space Marines have been getting a lot of love from GW lately, but can you really blame them? They make the money. I mean, capitalism, yeah, but they are popular for a reason. And I think you should cut GW just a little bit of slack on that. But with the new codex out, we know what units are coming down the pipeline, and there's nothing new that we didn't already know about when 9th was announced. We got the Hammerfall Bunker, we got the new Primaris Land Speeder, we got the Heavy Intercessors, the Heavy Primaris Captain, and that's really about it as far as the new stuff goes. Everything else is everything that already existed, and okay, yeah, the new ATV and a couple other things like that, you get my point, okay? There's nothing new we haven't heard about, there's nothing whose stats we haven't seen, okay? And I don't think GW, hopefully, will be coming out with anything too new in the near future. Unless they come out with Primaris Terminators, in which case I will change my tune instantly. Give me my Primaris Terminators, GW. I need them in my life, especially with what you did to my Cataphractii Terminators. Sorry, off topic. 9th edition is a chance for so many new players to get into the hobby, and I hope that new players do. I hope that new players find the faction that they love and that they want to play with for a good long while. I also hope that Space Marine players don't chase them off and ruin the experience for everyone else. I know too many people who have been in the hobby for a while now, like me, and refuse to play against Space Marine players because this is not fun for them anymore. Guys, something's got to change, and it's got to be us, not GW. Be the player that you would like to play against. Be kind, be considerate, have fun. That's my message to the Space Marine players out there. And to you non-Imperium players, to you non-Space Marine players, if you stuck around this long, this is what I have for you. On behalf of all Space Marine players out there, I'm sorry. I'm sorry GW has been giving us a ton of stuff. I'm sorry that we've been getting new codexes and new FAQs. I can't change what GW does. But I can't apologize for how some of us have acted. I'm going to apologize for how I've acted. I'm not going to act like I'm immune to this. I'm not going to act like I've been the paragon of a Space Marine player. I've been rude in some games too. I'm only human. But I try not to be that guy. I try to be kind and the kind of player that I would want to come back and play against again. So, if you're out there and you don't want to play against Space Marine players because of how we act or because you think that our armies are broken, I get it. But I hope you maybe give us another chance. There's some new stuff coming down the pipeline. For Space Marines, for Necrons, and you know the new guys, some other guys are going to be getting some new stuff. Heck, I think it's about time Orcs got an update. They got the new Ghazghkull model. They got to be coming out with something else that's new. The Orc sculpts definitely need an update. So many mold lines. Ooh, is that a spoiler for things to come later on this channel? I digress. Look, if you're in the greater Portland area and you're willing to give a Space Marine player another chance to show there can still be some good Space Marine players out there, let me know. I'd be more than happy to play a game with you. I've got Space Marines galore. I can handle any size game you want, all the way up to Apocalypse level if you want. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you give this hobby another chance in the future. I hope you give Space Marine players a chance in the future. And to my Space Marine players, come on, guys. Let's clean our act up a little bit. In the meantime, I'm glad that you guys stuck around with me this long. I know this was a bit of a ramble. Let's make 9th edition the edition that breaks the cycle. See you guys on the flip side.